May 11th, it's Mother's Day here, a Sunday afternoon. It's about 74, 76 degrees. I'm just going to go through and do some hive work today. Let me first break it down for you. This hive right here was a hive that just got picked up from a swarm this morning. These bees are just exiting for the first time, doing some orientation flights, so we're going to leave it be. This hive is from a walkaway split. Literally, it was a full hive in a different location yesterday, and we split the box in half, and I'm not sure whether I ended up with the queen or not. I did have an extra box with some honey on it, and we're going to go take a look at it. The first box on the bench over there is also a walkaway split, and one of the things I wanted to do this year was to get to medium boxes. So you have 3 mediums, 2 of which are honey boxes that I've had from past. Again, I don't know whether I have a queen in there or not, so I'm going to go take a look at that. This is a split that I know does not have a queen, and I need a queen cell for it or a queen to insert into it. Coming back to what else we have, these 2 hives are nucleus hives, along with that one up there. They were split from a mother hive last weekend, and what I know is in here, or the weekend before that, so they're 2 weeks old. I know there are queen cells in here, several of them. So when I go through the other hives, if I find that I don't have queen cells, I'm going to come and cut a queen cell out of these 3 donors. I'm going to leave queen cells inside so that they could be queen right, and we're going to supply into that. This hive right here was another hive that was split off from a different colony, and again, I'm not sure if there's a queen in here or not, and if not, we'll harvest a queen cell. So let's go through these. So we're going to start with this hive right here first. Give it a little bit of smoke. Let them know I'm coming. Now this literally was 1 box populated yesterday. These 2 were added. This one has a little bit of honey in it. So I'm not expecting a high population of bees in here. I know that they've probably come up through, and they have. They're covering all the comb. So I'm going to suspect that the queen is down below, and I'm not even going to look in this box. I'm just going to put it aside. I'm not setting it in the grass. My preference is to set it there, and I've looked at the inner cover. I've looked at what bees are presenting. Always looking for the queen. Just a little touch of smoke. Now to keep these girls quiet, I'm just going to cover them off here. And I'm going to go look at this mother colony. You seem pretty calm. They're all walking across the top of the comb. I don't see eyes up on me. Just going to give a little smoke here where I want to go in. So I'm looking for a queen in case I got one with this hive. And all we literally did was pull this out. This box was sitting on a deep in the middle of a stack, and I see no queen. I know it's hard to see from there, but I have a full carpet of brood on this frame. Nothing there. Still relatively calm. Excuse me, girls. I didn't put a lot of smoke on this hive because I don't want to scare the queen down if I do have one. And this is another brood frame. Now my objective with this particular hive is to run all mediums. It'll be the first one that I've run in that configuration in my apiary. And there's a queen. Okay, so I know I have a queen in this hive, and the mother colony that I took it from is queenless. They'll have to raise their own. There's the queen, and she's beautiful. Look how big her abdomen is. You can see it right here. Gorgeous queen. So I see all that I need to see for this hive. I'm going to button it up, and I don't need to put a queen cell in it. And I'll have to call the beekeeper where I got these and let him know that I got the queen so he can take care of his notes. So this hive is good to go. What I did there was put a little smoke right here and a little smoke here, and I pushed both frames over at one time. And now I'm just going to gently slide this back in, giving time for the bees to move away. And I'm all set. And now I'm going to put these back on in order. Good to go. Let's go get this next one. A little bit of smoke. Let them know I'm coming. As they try and clean the smoke away. I'm going to release the strap. I put these straps on my hive in case a bear comes. Ideally, I'll have a bear fence someday, but I don't have one right now. And at minimum, if the straps are here, it would make it a little bit harder. My ventilation rock. Now what I have here is this is a walkaway split too. This is a honey box that I had from a previous season, and I could see the bees are up in here. I'm just going to give them a little smoke under the inner cover, let them know I'm coming. I always like to lean the inner cover across the front entrance, so if they want to go back in, they can do that. Had one in the palm of my hand. So they have really populated. Now this box I know from yesterday was absolutely loaded, but I'm expecting the brood is down in the bottom, so like the other one, I'm going to follow the same pattern. I'm going to pop this off and I'm going to put it aside, and I'm going to go see if I can find a queen downstairs. I'm going to put the inner cover back over it so it stays quiet. And I have just nothing but sea of bees all the way through here. Just going to give a little smoke across the top, put them down. And what I have is a spare inner cover here. And I'm going to put that over partially so it stays dark and quiet for them. And I'm going to go in and pull my first frame. So I'm looking at this, I have frame 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 going away from me. And what I'm going after is frame number 2. And the reason I'm doing that is if this box, especially with 10 frames, is welded closed. A lot of propolis, and they've built a ton of comb out to the outside edges. And I'm gently going to pull frame number 2, and it'll be B on B. So I got a little bit of emerged brood in the opening here. A lot of fresh new bees. They're light, soft in color, almost vanilla-like. On this side, I see no queen. Just double checking, taking my time. And I have lots of brood, and I even have nurse brood on here. And I'm just going to set my frame down, and I'm going to go get my next one. Got a lot of bees in the air here. A little time for them to get out of the way. Again, I'm looking for a queen. Lots of covered brood here, some open. Same thing here, totally capped brood. There's a ton of queen cells down on the bottom, but they have nothing in them so far. And that frame looks okay, but no queen. Let's go see what number 4 gives me. Again, this was a walkaway split from yesterday where it had 2 boxes of brood, top and bottom. We just took one off and put it on a bottom board. And from the lottery standpoint, we're not sure whether this one got the queen or the other one. But whichever one did, we'll get a new queen to make with all the nurse brood. Quick scan of this brood, no queen. This hive was in danger of swarming, and that's one of the main reasons why we did this walkaway split yesterday. If you look at it, I see brood patterns, and in the brood pattern I see nectar inside, which means they were coming back down with the nectar flow and filling out the brood that had emerged, the space, because they were out of room. And that is going to kick off a swarming impulse. But now that we put this out of the main hive and we put extra comb in there, they should be good to go. Again, looking for a queen, and my suspicion is she's not in here. I just saw a queen cell on the face of this, and I saw a bee going in and out of it, which to me means they're doing a little bit of maintenance there. And it's all these little clues that add up to a hunch. And whether I'm right or not, I don't know. So I'm into frame number 5, and I still see no queen. I'm going to go get number 6. A little bit breezy today. You want to be careful, although it's 70 degrees, which is comfortable for us, almost 80 degrees. It still chills the brood a little bit if you have it up too much. No queen on this frame. There's queen cups everywhere in this hive. Check the other side. Another brood filled with nectar. So let me bring that over and show it, what I'm talking about. So here's brood, and this whole face was covered with brood just shortly. And the bees in the middle have emerged. These have yet to emerge. And what you see if you look at that, hopefully it's coming through in the camera, is that there is nectar inside some of those cells. It's a glassy black, shiny, almost looks like glass, and they also have pollen. Now they're going to use those to feed the brood that's emerging and so on, but they're backfilling that, and this hive would have probably swarmed. I think I'm going to go one more frame in because I see a little brood on it and look for the queen. And if I don't see one, I'm going to assume that we don't have one in here. And I could leave them to build their own. This is just a nectar and pollen, no brood, no queen. Same thing on this side. So what a traditional box this is, that it has nectar and pollen on the outside and brood through the middle, and it's really strong. It has a ton of bees, and it has no queen, is my guess. So the hives behind me, the nucleus hives, were made from a survivor hive that we have in our mentoring yards with a really strong queen, and we want to propagate the species for her. So we're going to go cut a queen cell out of them and supply it to this hive so that we can propagate that species, or that strain of bees. So I'm going to close this up and I'm going to go get me a donor cell. I got one more hive to look at to see whether or not it has a queen cell in it. So let me put this together and I'll come back in it just a little bit later. Pinched a bee and got stung. Never get used to that, especially on the fingers. Gotta watch where you're putting your fingers sometimes. A little bit of burn, but it's all done. Sting number 6 on the year for me. All right, we'll just leave this stay put for now. Let's go check this other hive. You see, I'm smoking my hands. I just got stung on this finger over here, and there's a little pheromone on it, and they're taking an interest to me. So I'm just going to mask it a little bit with smoke. See, my hive stand's a little shaky here. Got jostled when I put this through. So let's see what we got going on in this one. This has a small quantity of bees from what I recall. Probably about 4 frames is what we started with. I'm just gonna go make sure we don't have a queen in here. I'm pretty confident that we don't. But we do have brood. So we're gonna take a look and see where we're going. No queen. No queen. Good. No queen here. You got some brand new brood though in this box, and if I had to leave them to their devices, they would make a queen, no problem. And there's queen cups across the bottom. And is that one with some? Yeah, there's one with royal jelly in it. And there's another one they're attending to. So they're already, this got pulled out of the hive yesterday, and they recognize that they are queenless, and they are building queens. How about that? I don't need to go any further in here. I know exactly what I'm looking at. So I'm just going to put it all back together. Six, 7, 8, 9. I have 9 frames in this hive. Just checking. And if I'm running 9 frames, I'm centering them between the walls so that they don't build bridge comb from the last one out. And I'm going to put everything back together. Okay, so I could put a queen in here. I have a queen in the first one and I could put a queen in there. I know the swarm that I captured has a queen, and the other one is a donor hive that should not have a queen. So I need 3 queen cells to harvest out of each one of these. So this is a nucleus colony, and it has a frame of old brood, meaning capped brood, new brood, honey and pollen, and a honey frame along with an open frame. This was pulled out of a mother hive 2 weeks ago, and then this frame all the way across is honey that I had in reserve that I'm feeding to this colony so that it can grow quickly. Eventually we'll take this colony out after it's queen right and put it in a full-size colony, but for now they're raising their own queens. What I'm going to do is, there's a number of queen cells, as I said before, in here. I'm going to pull one from this colony for use in the others, and then there's 2 other boxes just like this one with multiple queen cells, and I'm going to take one, harvest one from each of those also. A little bit of smoke at the entrance. Release my bear strap. There's no need for me to look in this top box. I'm just going to pull it straight off. Cover it off. Pretty stiff breeze coming from that side, so every time I have to smoke from the far side. Now what I'm looking for here is my queen cells that I found in here. Ow, pinched another bee. You get stung, you scrape the stinger out, don't pinch it. Need to take my time, pay a little more attention. Ah, very interesting. Now this hive is 14 days old, and I've already found a queen that's emerged. She's right here. But what's interesting about this is there's queen cells on the other side, and they have not torn them down yet. Now she's not a very big queen. Let me see if I could show her to you. She is right here. She's a little runty queen. Now here's a queen cell that she came out of likely, and you could tell it's new. It's still got the little edge to it. I'm a little nervous because the cats shoot. That little delay was my cat rubbing against the tripod. I did not want her to knock it over. This is a honey and pollen frame, as I said, so I'll tell you what, I'm going to leave this one be. I see one other queen cell and it's not torn down yet. right here is a queen cell. And they've not done anything yet. So it is possible that they're going to let her emerge and they'll choose her instead. And there's only 2, so I'm going to leave it be. I want the best queen for this colony. And the one that came out looks a little small to me, so I'm going to let them make a decision. And I know one of these has multiple queen cells. So I'm not going to go any further in this box. I'm going to put it back together and leave it be. Got 1 sting for my services. So it goes to show 16 days for a queen to emerge. It has not been 16 days since we pulled that one and the queen has emerged. So she could have been a couple day old queen or a couple day old egg, and now she's out. So let's see what we have going on in here. I've already put a little bit of smoke in it. It's the same exact configuration as the other one. No queen up on the top. There's a queen cell and it's open, but it looks like it's been torn down. It does not look like it came out. That's interesting. So I'm going to be careful and make sure I look for a queen here. Ton of drones, and there's a queen right there, and she looks great. Now that's the kind of queen we want to see. So what do you know, it didn't take 16 days at all for these. Right, you go right here is the queen, and she looks a lot better than the other ones. So that other queen cell is likely being torn down because they've accepted her as the queen of the colony. Now whether she's been out and been mated or not, it's hard to tell. I would think, since they're not paying a huge amount of attention to her, that she might not be, but you can see some of them are following her around. And she's a nice looking queen. So now that I know she's in there, I'm going to put her back and make sure that she's taken care of. And I'm going to go check and peek if I can find me a queen cell to harvest before they tear it down and get one of her sisters. Let's see what we got going on in here. All kinds of drone. And there's a queen cell and it's gone. And there's another queen cell and it's gone. So how about that? Now sometimes you see 2 queens and they haven't found each other yet. And I'm just going to wander around and look in here and see if I have another one. And if I do, I'm literally going to pick her up and put her in one of those other hives. So I'm a little late on this. So timing wise, they didn't follow the rules. Here's a queen cell and it's torn down. Here's a queen cell and it's torn down. I was in to harvest these. So 2 Saturdays ago, these were pulled. Most likely they all hatched yesterday, and I'm out of luck. Which is not a problem. I'll just let those other hives requeen themselves, but I'm not going to get this stock, which is what I was after. This is a pollen. and nectar frame that we pulled out to have food. And there's no queen in here. So out of luck here too. Bummer. Maybe the other one will be my salvation. These girls are off to a good start though, and they're going to make a good colony very shortly. Okay, let's go look at number 3 nuke. See if we can have gold there. In the first 2 colonies we found queens, had emerged already. We're going to go look at colony number 3 here, nucleus number 3, and see what we have. Last chance to have the ability to harvest a queen cell. Let's see. Got all kinds of emerged brood, a little bit of pollen stored, some nectar, no queen cells, no queen. That's number 2 of 5. Let's go see what the next one has. I have a feeling it's on the 3rd one because I see a lot of bees there. No queen cells here. No brood or sign of anything here. What do we got going on? Excuse me, girls. They have a funny look to them, which means they don't have their queen to look after. See a lot of emerged brood here. No queen cells. Emerging brood and no queen cells. And there's a queen right there. She's a little one. She's not much bigger than some of the bigger bees. Go look at this last frame real quick and then I'll show her to you. Just want to see if there was a queen cell on it. There's nothing there. So this queen's as little as the other one, if not smaller. She's almost hard to pick out. Now where did she go? Okay, I found her. She's right here. She took forever to find. Right here is this little baby queen. She's so small, she's almost the size of a regular bee. You can see her right here. And so I am gonna put them back. I know the answer is all 3 of these hives made their queens already. No queens to harvest. Bummer. So the timing didn't work out for us to harvest our queen cells, but that's okay. These hives that needed queen cells, they have 2-day or younger eggs, and they'll be good to raise their own queens, so we'll get by. And they're also from strong New Jersey survivor stock. We were really looking to propagate the queen that those nucleus hives came from, but at this point they'll grow, and so will these. I'm going to put all the straps back on for the bears to make sure that they can't get into these, and call it a day.